Back on the PlayStation 3, you know Evolution Studios best with the awesome and insane MotorStorm series. Before then, they made a name for themselves developing a number of World Rally Championship games for the PlayStation 2. Moving on to the PlayStation 4, the studio would expand into a new and exciting racer called Driveclub, an innovative, ambitious game that was probably years ahead of its time. Driveclub was all about social connection, a global network of players creating and joining clubs, competing against other clubs and racers, beating the scores and challenges set by your friends, and earning reputation to be the best club out there. While you could work alone or play with others, each club member contributed to its success. Every action added to the club's increasing level. The concept fit in well with a more social media focus implemented onto the PlayStation 4. However, Driveclub faced a number of troubling delays and technical issues. Despite the love so many had and continue to express for it, Driveclub has practically been erased from existence. Search for it on the PlayStation Store and it's not there. This is because Driveclub took its last breath on March 31st, 2020, when the online servers were shut down. And before then, the game and all of its downloadable content were delisted in August 2019. So the only way to get your hands on Driveclub today is to purchase a physical copy. Now the move to a new console generation is always both exciting and often dangerous. Originally set to be a PlayStation 4 launch title in November 2013, Driveclub was delayed to early 2014 to ensure that the vision set by Evolution Studios was delivered. But then Driveclub faced a further delay to its release in fall 2014 to perfect its online elements and seamlessly connected dynamic menu system. While multiple delays are often frustrating, it's often for the best, but it doesn't always mean a game release is in a perfect state. On launch, the game had severe online issues plaguing it. There were so many people wanting to play that it overloaded the servers and people were forced out of playing the game's multiplayer. In fact, wanting to avoid increasing the volume of players online and further issues, the planned release of a free version for PlayStation Plus users called Driveclub PlayStation Plus Edition was delayed. This included everything the paid version of Driveclub did, but limited the number of cars and locations the player could race at. Its release was postponed to June 2015, and the game was later removed that October. Sony and Evolution Studios acknowledged the issues of Driveclub, apologized for their mistakes, and gave away free premium DLC to users who were affected by server issues. Over time, Evolution Studios were successful enough to fix many of these problems. While it's more common to see this trend today, back then that was a huge step to regain trust of players, and Evolution Studios did everything they could to fully realize their vision for the game. Further additions of a photo mode and a dynamic weather system were put on hold because of these issues and later released through a free update. This included dynamic rain and snow. And if you ever heard anything about Driveclub, you've likely heard about the raindrops. How they react as they would in the real world and act independently to the direction of wind and whatever way the car is moving. Such a small detail that made a huge, memorable impact. Driveclub was supported through various free updates and a huge amount of paid DLC, which included new vehicles, races, and tracks. The Driveclub universe later expanded with a digital-only standalone expansion, Driveclub Bikes, and then a separate release for the PlayStation VR called Driveclub VR, which you can still buy a physical copy of today. Both of these would join Driveclub in its delisting and online shutdown. Unfortunately for Evolution Studios, things would start to go sour in 2015 when about half of their employees were cut so the studio could refocus on turning Driveclub into a live service type of game. But then in March 2016, Sony would close down the developer the same day Driveclub's final DLC, Finish Line, was released. The closure was part of Sony restructuring their European studios, and it's likely that Driveclub's troubles attributed to this. But let's say you're like myself and got into the game long after the server shut down. What can you expect when starting the game for the first time? How much of the experience is missing for a game that was heavily advertised for its online features and no longer has its extensive DLC catalog available? And why is Driveclub still a game worth playing today? Starting Driveclub, the main menu makes it ever apparent on how you aren't connected online. You can't issue friends a challenge, create clubs, or browse clubs. Not entirely bad, but then if you click on Driveclub add-ons, there's salt in the wound. All DLC can be clicked on but can't be purchased, continuing my lifelong regret of not buying any and all of it when I knew of the delisting beforehand. It only gets worse once you enter the single player and multiplayer modes. You have a choice between Driveclub and Driveclub Bikes, but Driveclub Bikes is pointless if you didn't buy it when it was available. So save yourself some trouble and don't even bother looking. But the Driveclub tab is better, and this is the big bulk of the game you will be spending your time in. There's the tour, single player events, and random events, but no more multiplayer. And every single time you start a race, text will scroll across the screen on how you aren't connected to the online servers. It will go away and come back throughout the race, and every time you see it, it kinda takes away from the immersive experience of each race. Despite tour mode being one giant graveyard of DLC you will never own, there is still enough to keep you occupied. The massive main Driveclub tour and the bonus Starline tour will give you plenty to tackle. Various types of races, time trials, drift events, there is always some kind of variety to keep you entertained. All tour races contain objectives such as getting in the top 3, beating the track at or under a certain time, or reaching a certain speed. These will earn up to 3 stars depending on the challenges you accomplish, and you need these stars to unlock further events. So it's not just about reaching the finish line and getting that top spot. During races, positive actions like achieving high speed, drifting, drafting, and gaining positions add to your fame score. Cutting corners, impacts, any kind of negative action will give you a penalty and subtract from your score. And after each race, whatever total of fame you earn from that race will help to increase your driver level. Increasing your fame level helps to unlock more cars, and even without additional DLC, there's a ton to unlock. Unlike Gran Turismo, where tracks are recreations of those in real life from around the world, everything is original in Driveclub. Tracks are set all over the world in different weather conditions, and each location feels nice and extremely varied. In a way, Driveclub feels reminiscent to Forza Horizon. The festival-like celebration of racing, the types of vehicles, and the emphasis on gorgeous environments. Even though it's not open world, the environments speak for themselves. The developers really hone in on that region and the culture. Each track stands out from one another. They feel alive and lived in, so to speak, unlike Gran Turismo that, while picture perfect, often feel too empty. You do have a custom avatar you can customize, but it felt a bit out of place. While I'm sure avatars had more purpose when the game servers were active, it doesn't feel like the avatar has much purpose on the single player side. You don't see much of them, and of course majority of the time, you're focused on the car and racing anyway. Now, if you're a trophy hunter, yes, the game does have online trophies that are unattainable. So if you're thirsty for that platinum trophy, unless you earn those specific trophies before the shutdown, the platinum trophy is unattainable today. And the same goes for the huge amount of DLC trophies. Didn't purchase the DLC, you can't get those extra trophies. And sadly, there's no place to be found outside of the PlayStation Store where you can buy them. But don't let these online trophies stand in the way of playing this. Driveclub is still a fantastic game to play today. Despite its core online focus on creating clubs and uniting players being stripped away, it's great that there is still enough content to entertain you for a long while. But seeing the insane amount of DLC you're missing out on, and the game alerting you on how you're not connected to dead servers, can be very annoying. Though the amount of work and beautiful detail for the vehicles, the tracks, and the environments make it very memorable and very pleasing to the eye. Driveclub is a game that could have alternated its release with Gran Turismo. Driveclub with its slightly more arcade-like feel, and Gran Turismo with its simulation. Further updates with free and paid content once again, or even go down the live service route that Sony was trying to navigate Driveclub towards after its release, something that's a bigger focus in today's gaming market. These days, you find people comparing Driveclub, a game from 2014, to Gran Turismo 7, a game from 2022, and how Driveclub looks vastly better in so many aspects. That in itself is incredible when knowing that Gran Turismo is supposed to be the king of car games. A game that honors car culture, but falls flat to a game from 2014. But let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Driveclub? Would you be interested in Sony returning to the series in the future? And if you're interested in another game whose online servers were shut down, check out my video on if Everybody's Golf on the PlayStation 4 is still worth playing today. Please be sure to like and subscribe for future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.